Today is World Radio Day. This year, the celebration runs under the theme Radio and Trust. I want to take a closer look at this and the theme and what it means to you and me. The SABC's Group Executive for Radio, Ndulelwa Wotshela, joins us now live. Ms. Wotshela, thank you very much indeed for your time. Welcome to the agenda. Oops, I can see your lips moving, but I can't hear you. Are you on mute? There we go.
I'm sorry. Thank you very much, Blaine. And good morning to your viewers.
Great to have you on the program. Themes, trust and radio, trust and accessibility, trust and viability. The principle of trust, very important, no doubt. Is radio still a trusted medium in this day and age?
In the South African setting, it certainly is a very much trusted medium. I mean, looking at the figures that were released late last year of radio listenership, you would notice that we've grown even more than before. There are some stations that have also, almost doubled their audiences from their previous surveys. And that tells you that as we were moving out of a crisis, the COVID pandemic, radio played a very important role in demystifying, the pandemic and getting people informed, keeping people informed all the time, and just keeping them companion in a very difficult time. It shows you how people got even closer to their radio stations at a very confusing and difficult time in their lives, because it is indeed a trusted medium.
So in the broader context, trust normally equals respect. We need to respect the listener, the viewer in this part, this medium, especially when we're doing the news, isn't it? Why? Because they deserve the facts. Real news matters, truth matters, objectivity matters, balance and fairness matter. In short, quality journalism matters. But in this present, one would say, high-tempo digital age, it can be challenging. What measures are in place, especially at the public broadcaster, to make sure that listeners get reliable and credible information?
It's the continuous upskilling of our radio presenters, our producers, and everybody else who is working behind the scenes to ensure that the information that we are dishing out to our audiences is credible, it is tested, it is well researched, and it is presented by people who themselves, are credible individuals, because radio is indeed that medium that is personality driven. People trust the personality because they know that the personality is a person of integrity, and the information that they're giving them is credible, they are knowledgeable, the information is well researched. So the upskilling and the continuous development of our personnel is one of the measures that we are using as SABC to ensure that our trust relationship is stronger with our audiences. Yeah. But also, making sure that we catch up with technological advancements that are there in our space. Every time that people are moving, into new, taking up new technologies. For instance, right now, people are using the internet, people are streaming our stations, people interact with us via social media platforms, ensuring that we are also available on all of these platforms. Right. It ensures that trust relationship that will always be there for them, is kept strong.
So let's pick up on that. And how do you ensure that radio does not degenerate due to technological advancements?
Look, Blaine, there's a lot of clutter. There's a lot of clutter and a lot of fake news that are doing the rounds. But like I said earlier, ensuring that our people, our personnel, they get the necessary training, and we update our policies as well in terms of how you treat information that you come across on the internet, on social media platforms, and all of those things, and securing our platforms as the SABC, because it is very easy these days for our platforms to get hacked and get people posting information that is not acceptable or that is fake news on our platforms. So ensuring that we are always ahead of of the developments that are there. It is something that we have employed as SABC Radio, particularly to ensure that whatever we do is always credible and trustworthy.
Speaking about trying to stay ahead of the game, the broadcasting environment is constantly changing. The question is radio still economically viable?
Look, radio, I believe, is economically viable, even though the economy is shrinking. I mean, the industry as a whole, it felt, the effects of the COVID pandemic because marketing budgets were cut as most of our clients' businesses were shrinking and some were even folding. So marketing budgets, have been spread quite thin and advertisers have really had to consider their advertising spend and marketing. But overall, SABC carries massive audiences that any advertiser, would like to associate with. So we become viable still economically, especially in the South African setting, because the public broadcaster is self-funding. 80% of our revenue, is coming from advertising. So we have to we have to constantly devise strategies to attract advertisers. We have to demonstrate that the audiences that we are carrying, there is a belief that the audiences that we are carrying are not quality audiences. Some still believe that they are largely rural. There's huge audiences that our vernacular radio stations, more especially, are carrying, are largely rural and they don't have the buying power. But we have been demonstrating, at trade marketing events and the presentations that we bring to our clients. We have invested in research, actually, that we can bring to our clients and say that the audiences that we carry as the SABC, are economically viable, and that has assisted us to attract revenue. But it is a constant struggle because there's a lot of competition in the market, and like I said, the marketing budgets are shrinking in a very tough economy.
Look, if you're listening to us, and I'm not only talking about SABC radio stations, you are quality. We appreciate you and we welcome your input in terms of how we can become better. Radio, no doubt, ma'am, is so powerful, such a powerful medium. And I was just saying earlier that part of the power is its accessibility. I was just reading what UNESCO was saying, that it constitutes a platform for democratic discourse. It has the potential of shaping society's experience of diversity. Let's talk about you, though, as the GE for radio at the SABC. What made you fall in love with radio?
So I didn't quite get the question, Blaine.
What made you fall in love with radio?
Look, I think that it was kind of natural because a lot of kids, they emulate their parents. They always gravitate towards what their parents are doing because our parents are our role models. And even the people that they associate with, you learn a lot from the conversations that they're having around the dining room table. I was introduced to radio at a very early age. My father worked for this great institution. And so the people that hung around our house were journalists and musicians and artists, the people that he met through his work at the SABC. But, at some point, I think as a teenager, when I was starting to discover myself, I thought, there's bigger and better things that one can do out there. But around 1996, I found myself, in broadcasting, as one of the family friends was launching a community radio station, was part of a consortium that was launching a community radio station. And I had just graduated from university and looking for new challenges and opportunities. And there it was. So I became involved in that community radio station called Ubuntu FM in Port Elizabeth. And the rest is history.
Yeah, look, many see it the same way. Radio is our friend. We wake up with it, we go to bed, with it. It makes you laugh, it makes you cry, it entertains you, it gives you information, and it picks you up sometimes, when you're feeling down. Powerful medium indeed. And I thank you very much, Nada, for coming on and giving us an insider perspective into what the public broadcaster is doing, but generally about appreciating radio. Appreciate your time.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We intend to keep radio going very strong in this country. We think that the audiences in South Africa, they need the radio stations, you know, just for the reasons that you have mentioned right there. Thank you so much.
Great. SABC Group Executive for Radio, Ndulelwa Wotshela there.